myself. We'll let everybody in the waiting room as they come in. But welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm LaShawn Gordon. I get the privilege of being the Director of Membership and Engagement for United Partners of Human Services. I also have my colleague, Amber Tynan, on the call, who is our Executive Director. And we are super excited about today. We have Miss Yolanda Porcio, who is the CEO and Principal Consultant of Yolanda Speaks. And I've actually known Yolanda for probably about 15 or 16 years. And she has been on this amazing discovery of self. And we were so excited to work with her today to bring this resilience and action training to you all, because as we're all navigating these crazy times of COVID, we're also dealing with just a lot of unjust in the community and in the world. And so Yolanda's going to take us on a journey today. We're going to just kind of sit back and absorb everything she has to offer. We'll be monitoring the chat. And so as you have questions or anything, feel free to put them in there, and we'll try to leave a little time at the end for that as well. So we won't prolong any longer. Yolanda, take it away.
All righty. Good morning, everybody. I am so excited to be here. A lot of you already know that I do a lot of training on diversity and inclusion. So I just want to tell you a little bit of my background. When it comes to wellness, I've been trained to meditate. I've been meditating for about 20 years. And so the reason I'm telling you this is because one of the ways we build resilience is to let our stillness match our activity. So often we just go. And then there's no restoration. It's almost like fishing in a pond. I don't know if you know anything about fishing, but a lot of times if you have a pond, especially if you got these great, brims, you're like, look, we're not gonna fish in that pond for a while because we want it to build back up. We can begin to look at our own beings in that same way. We've got to give ourselves a chance to build up. The other thing I want to say before we go further is body, mind, and spirit. To separate them is just for us to be able to have a conversation. They're not really separate. You're really talking about one thing within a being. And because spirit is so complex, that's the part we're going to spend the least amount of time on. But we are going to touch it. I'm not going to run from it altogether. So resilience, for some reason, I cannot see. Let me see if I can move that. I want to be able to, you guys are blocking my definition of resilience, so I need to move you so I can give you that definition. Resilience means one's ability to bounce back. So whether it is that you're dealing with sickness or somebody else's sickness, how does one bounce back when something happens? To be resilient, to be a resilient person means to be able to withstand and adapt to hardships, including trauma. We're going to talk a little bit about trauma today. In some cases, it can mean finding a path that leads to a stronger position. So not only do you survive it and adapt, you're better off for it. I hate that saying, if it don't kill you, it'll make you stronger, but it may apply here. So what I'd like for us to do as we move forward is to try to get in a position. I like this. I made these slides, so all of them I like. And so I'd like for you to I want you to see, we're going to talk about the body first, but I want you to just see what it might feel like if I just guide you through a relaxation. We're going to do a really intense relaxation when we talk about mind. But I want you to just see what the body does if you just say, relax, right? I'm going to guide you through it, but I'm going to need you to kind of sit in the position of willingness to relax. So for me, whenever I teach any kind of meditation or introspection, I believe the being should be upright. If you're home and you're like, I'm not doing that, I'm going to lay down, then you do it. But this uprightness is about being able to be aware, and fully relaxed. And just kind of play with that with your mind, okay? And so basically, we're just going to, if you feel safe enough, close your eyes, stop doing all the other work you may be doing, right? Rest your hands on your thighs and let me guide you through. So we're going to start with our scalps. Just relax. Relax your forehead, your eyebrows, your eye sockets, your nose, your lips, your tongue. Relax your chin. Relax your ears. Relax your shoulders. Relax your arms. Relax every single one of your fingers. Relax your chest and your stomach, upper back, lower back. Relax your spine. Relax your bottom, your thighs, your knees, your legs, your feet. Relax every single one of your toes. And so now be aware of any resistance to relaxing. See if you can stay there throughout this. See if you can stay in an aware but relaxed place. And so if you could just kind of intentionally do that, when I mention something that irritates you, I want you to just kind of be aware, like, oh my God. And so one of the first things that people can get irritated with regarding the body, we're going to start with the body. The first thing I want you to kind of contemplate while you still may be the tiniest bit relaxed, I want you to contemplate that you have a body and 90% of what's going on in it is gift. You've neither created it, and besides for the food you eat and your exercise, you're doing very little to maintain it. The body is one of nature's greatest gifts to you, without which you can't do anything else, right? But despite that, when we start talking about building resilience in the body, I want you to be aware of the resistance you may have in your body and your mind when I start talking about things you can do to have a strong body. Let's start with one of the biggest ones that I get. I was just doing a training the other day and I just mentioned food and people were like, don't mess with me about my food. I'm gonna eat what I want. I'm gonna eat what I want, how much I want, right? It's like, I'm gonna eat. And I'm like, all right. So if you start feeling some kind of way when I start talking about food, that's okay. Just kind of listen to what I have to say about food and be aware of your resistance. So the first thing is, if you're a woman, you need about 2,000 calories a day. If you're a man, it's about 2,500. Be aware if you get those 2,000 at breakfast. Be aware if your snack is 2,000. Be aware of the food because food is for energy. And so let's say if you're taking care of somebody that's sick or if you're sick, does the food that you eat help build strength and resilience? Just to think, here's something for you to consider. We have resistance, just go organic. Some people cannot afford to eat organic food. Some of us can, and we just have this idea, I'm not spending an extra penny on nothing. But when we begin to look at it like, when you buy organic food, it's for your body. It's for your wellness. It's for your good. Why organic? Just very quickly. When your body has to process pesticides and other chemicals, it stresses the body out. And if it is USDA approved organic, it's just fresh. And your body can just get the energy that it needs and keep rolling. Go for it. Go for it. I hate to say this because sometimes my mom gets, hears about some of the stuff I say, but when we grew up, we ate a lot of canned food. But as soon as somebody told me that fresh is healthier, I was on board, right? I really need a healthy body because my mind is so crazy. I want to help the whole right? And so right now, I was watching, I don't know if y'all have ever seen Everybody Loves Raymond. I was watching Everybody Loves Raymond and his mom was talking about, I mean, she just did this one liner. She's like, nothing good comes in a can. It's like, that kind of reminds me of something I kind of believe. But sometimes you can't afford it, and it's better to eat vegetables out of a can than not eat them at all, right? So we have to be mindful that different people are having different experiences. If you can get it fresh, do. You can get it frozen or fresh, do that. If you can get it organic, do. Why do it? Because you need a strong body if you're going to try to deal with all of the upheavals that we're dealing with right now. And then go without. Oh man, when we start talking about fasting, I'm getting right to it though, because I only have an hour with you. And so I want you to just try to open up again to the idea that the body might benefit from not having food sometimes. All right, Christy, I'm looking at your face. Christy's like, all right, I was with you with the fresh. I was even with you with the organic, but now you're talking about fasting. I don't know if I'm gonna play with you. No, thanks, I'm fasting. So these are the benefits of fasting, you know, do with it what you will. But it's like detoxification. There's so much great data out there now about fasting. And if I were you, I would do my own research on it. You should. But detoxification is one benefit of fasting. Obviously, weight loss. Although I fast regularly, when I'm not fasting, I do eat a lot. So, but still doesn't take away the benefit of detoxification. Healthy intestines. Speeding up healing. I did this research. Obviously, this didn't fall from the sky. But for me, even though we're not talking about spirituality, I primarily fast when I am having a hard time and I need to process out my life. Right? And having said that, I have to tell you that I am hosting a community fast. I would love it if you would go to this page and join us. This is a fast for physical and emotional healing around race. And that's the date. And so I would love it if you would come. And I am going to guide us through that fast. And so you can learn more about that if you decide to go to that page and check it out. So I just want to say one last thing about fasting. You don't have to fast everything all at once. So some people say, when I fast, I start feeling kind of sick. Yeah, that's true. So you might want to do something like, I'm going to have a very, very healthy breakfast, and then I'm going to fast lunch. And just feel, I love this experience so much. When you start feeling yourself being hungry at lunch, I want you to be really, really mindful on the days that you fast. Drink some water and see what happens in 5 minutes. I love this so much because in many ways we're like plants. You start feeling that stress of your fast, you drink some water and you pop back up. Has anybody ever had that experience? Anybody have that? Water will pop you back up just like it does your plants. I find that that is really quite amazing. Water, the universal solvent. And so this is a little video. I don't know if you're going to hear it, but the other thing about the body is we need to move it. And for people who know me or follow me already, I'm always in the woods walking. And so you might not be, I kept playing this and I can't really hear myself. So I don't know if you're hearing it, but right now I am walking us through, if I can, I don't know why my, yes. This is me. I don't know if y'all can hear it. But even if you can't hear it, check it out. I'm at Lafayette Heritage Trail Park. And so I can't really hear myself, but so one of the things that I want to say as you look at this is right here in our city. And they're not going to stop you and say, give me $5, give me $10. Right? All you got to do is show up and enjoy this beauty. I look at this, this video and I think this video does not do this park justice. But here in a minute, you're going to see why I go to this park at least twice a week. So in the beginning, there are woods on both sides. Many of you have gone to this place. But then look what happens now. Look at there. Mm-mm. Take it to the woods. Mm-hmm. I sound like an old lady. Did y'all hear me say I'm gonna sit down now? So let's say, for instance, I really like giving examples. You know, one of my friends, she lost 5 family members during COVID because they all kind of got together, right? And she was just like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I don't have all the answers either. But I do think that you have got to take care of yourself because you are now one of the healthiest and strongest members of the family. You've got to maintain that. And so without your phone and without all the extraneous stuff that's going on, take it to the woods. TIWW, what was it? TITT, but take it to the woods. Go to the woods and walk it out. Just walk it out, walk it out, walk it out. And I know it's good to go to the woods with your friends, but one of the things that happens when you go with somebody else, y'all just sometimes these conversations are stressful. But if you can go to the woods and just open up and like, I don't know what to do. Try this out. I don't know what to do. I need help. Walk it out. Walk it out. I just strongly suggest if you want to take your phone because there's so many beautiful things to look at, that's fine. But don't go as a photographer. Go to be with the life that is in the woods. Go and be with the life that is in the woods. Thank y'all for watching my little video. I'm like, oh my God, I hope this video plays. And then, you know, this idea of meditation, and meditation is really hot right now. But a lot of people are like, what in the world? But before we go into the mind, I'm really going to try to stress you out and see if we can do about, I was going to say 5 minutes, but let's just try to do 3. But first, let me share with you the benefits of meditation. And then I want to see if I can do a more intense guided relaxation. I really want you to kind of open up for the possibilities here. I want to do a more intense guided relaxation, and then I want us to sit with that for about 3 minutes. But first, let's look at it. Meditation reduces stress. It improves heart health. A lot of research has been done on African Americans because we have a really high rate of heart disease as a people. And so this idea, what I love about meditation in terms of the body, meditation is a lot like laughter or relaxation. When you laugh, your blood vessels open up. Did you know that? There was some really great research done at the University of Maryland where they had people watch a scary movie. So they put this, I don't know all these fancy words, but they put these kind of little doodaddies on their arms so they can measure this kind of the reactivity of the blood vessels. And they had the participants watch like 5 minutes of Saving Private Ryan and then 5 minutes of some comedy. I forget what the comedy was, right? So, and then they measured what was happening in the blood vessels. And when people laugh, their blood vessels opened almost 30%. But just in a scary movie, they had like 30% constriction. So you can almost see as you laugh, you kind of open up. And when you're irritated, aggravated, you tighten up. The heart doesn't want that. Every now and then, if you're stressed out and you just like, "Urgh." But if you're irritated, aggravated, gossiping, angry, that's your way of life, the body is stressed out. The heart is stressed out. And you can imagine it. I don't want to call up anything that irritates you right now, but you can almost use your imagination and think about what happens in the body when you're irritated, when you have to scold somebody, or when you just, So your heart is participating in all that. Again, we're talking about decreased muscle tension and enhanced immunity. So, why don't more people meditate? I know, because it's not easy. But because we're going to move on to the mind, I want to talk to you about, before we do this exercise, which is like one of the central pieces of this training, I want to talk to you about why people say mindfulness meditation so much. I actually was trained for 10 years in an organization called Shambhala International. When we did meditation, nobody ever talked about the physical attributes of it. It was all, I guess, more like psychological and spiritual. And basically, the idea is you're meditating on your breath coming in and out, or your chest rising up and falling. And your thoughts just go by like clouds in the sky. You're not supposed to be involved with those thoughts. So let's say I'm sitting in meditation and it comes up, girl, you really need to go clean those greens. Just watch it go by, right? A couple of things could happen when the thought, I need to go clean those greens, come up. It could happen that I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm gonna stop meditating, go clean my greens. Right? Or I could sit there and start thinking that's true. So maybe I could clean them with a knife. Or maybe I'll use my hand, that'll be quicker. That's engagement. You just want to begin to watch your thoughts without getting involved with them. It's like a TV program. Well, no, you would get involved with TV, but just kind of watching them as they go by. That is you becoming mindful of your mind. And so right now, I want to guide you through a relaxation. I'm going to set a timer. And at 3 minutes, I want you to, and y'all gonna have to talk back to me because, I'm an old Southern woman. I got to make sure you're with me. But only after this, I'm going to see where we are. So when the timer goes off, I'm going to put my phone up so you can hear it. It's going to go like some kind of little noise. So I'm asking you again. Hopefully you're in a place where you can be vulnerable enough to like close your eyes. So I'm going to guide you through a relaxation. And after we have been relaxed, I'm going to set the timer. And when I say just now be, I want you to just see what thoughts come up for you. I just want you to be mindful of your mind. The other thing I want to say is I'm going to be asking you to tighten a muscle group, and then I'm going to say, and let go. When I say let go, I want you to let go of everything. Whatever is worrying you, your sweetie pie, your children. Every time I say let go, I just want you to let go. All right. So let's get ourselves upright like queens and kings. When we take this posture, it is a posture of having dominion over our own being. This is not about ruling over others. It is the self that we're trying to manage. So close your eyes if you feel safe, and if not, look down. And I want you to rest your hands on your thighs. And if you would, focus your attention on your feet. Pull all the muscles in your feet together. Really engage your toes. Tighten your toes. Tighten, tighten, tighten. And let go. From your ankles to your knees, pull all your muscles in your legs together. Tighten, tighten, tighten. And let go. Really exhale on the let go. So now I want you to engage your thigh muscles, your bottom, really big muscles. You may feel a little lifting, but really engage. Tight, tight, tight. And let go. So let's look at our midsection. Pull your stomach in, your chest in, lower back, middle, upper back. Imagine that you're engaging the spine, everything in the middle. Pull it in. Tighten, tighten. Really give yourself this gift. Tighten, tighten. And let go. And we hold so much stress in our necks and our shoulders. So really pull your neck muscles and your shoulder muscles up like you're pulling them to your ears. Up, up, up. Tighten, tighten, tighten. And let go. So in order to get some relaxation in your head where so much is going on, you just need to frown. Just make a frowning face, engage your scalp and your ears. Tight, tight, tight. And so now just relax. Relax your scalp. Relax every single one of your neurons. Your eyes, nose, your lips, shoulders, neck. Relax your arms, chest, your back, your spine, bottom, your groin, thighs, your knees, your legs. Relax every single one of your toes. And so I'm setting the timer now for 3 minutes. And I will let you know when those 3 minutes are up. So just focus your attention on your breath and let whatever happens happen. Whatever you're thinking about, don't get involved. Just watch it. And relax. We're halfway there. "30 seconds. You've been engaged in your thoughts or worrying, let it go. Just 30 seconds. Just relaxing. Okay. So, how was that? How was that? How'd you do? We okay? Are we good? Mm-hmm. Thanks for the thumbs up. I think somebody just put in a crying face. Is that was that? Because there's this saying in the meditation circles, this idea of either monkey mind or drunken monkey mind, right? It's all right.
She says it's her joy face. It's her joy
Oh
face.
yeah, well, great, right? Sometimes you can get in meditation and you will just feel like this movement, like what I love about meditation and belonging to what they call a sangha, which is like a group of people meditating, is that stuff comes up for you. You can't like blame the preacher or the priest or the pope, whatever. It's like that's in your head. So you're like, why is my head so fascinating? So before I wanted you to look at, these are some of my favorite quotes about the mind. Right? And the first one is, it is not your mind or my mind, it's mine. And that's by a guy, Krishnamurti, right? I love it so much because sometimes when our minds are doing a certain thing, we'll go, oh my God, it's I. Whatever I is. I am so crazy. No, mind is crazy. There's an element of it. It's almost like to say it's not my mind or your mind, it's mine. It's very much like saying it's not your foot or my foot, it's feet, right? Everybody has some different feet, but there's something very similar to feet. And so there's a level of not uniqueness about mind. And it's important to know that because you'll start feeling all alone. Why am I so stressed? Mind stresses. Why do I gossip so much? Mind gossips. That's a way of trying to deal with stress. So that's a good one. This one is Christian. Be ye transformed by, did I forget the most important word? The renewing of your mind. So how does one renew the mind? That's my error. I just was so comfortable with that. I forgot to put the word. So be ye transformed. I love the idea of mental transformation because a lot of the way we deal with stress, we've learned it and we've got to unlearn it, right? It's almost like going back to the body. The body and the mind are not separate. So for me, I was brought up around a lot of fresh food. My grandmother, really at my grandma's house, you could go outside and get peaches. You could dig in the ground and get a sweet potato. It was always like fresh stuff. But if my grandma got some corn, let me tell you what she's gonna do. First of all, we all are gonna participate in cleaning corn. Have you ever cleaned corn where you take the first layer off and then you scrape? All right, y'all don't know nothing about that. I still do that, but what I don't do that I learned was not good for me is fry up a big piece of pork. Have y'all ever seen this pork that is like white and salt? It's like skin, fat, and salt. Have y'all ever seen that? My grandma would cook up, it's like salty bacon, I think they call it. She would cook that up and then pour the good, corn in. Well, by the time you pour the corn, I ain't got to tell y'all what happened. So we were surrounded by all that fresh fruit, all these fresh vegetables, and then we would put a bunch of fat in it. I'm not saying if you're doing it, that's bad. What I'm saying is it's bad for me. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So that kind of transformation has led in my mind to a transformation of the way I eat. And then this one is from one of my favorite guys, Deepak Chopra. Meditation is not a way, what's happening is that it's cutting it off as it goes into that thing, right? Quiet, goodness, I need my other thing because I can't see, or maybe if I move y'all out the way, I can see more of it. Let's see, because I need that quote. Oh, to make your mind quiet. It is a way into the quiet that is already buried under 50,000 thoughts per day for the average person. On a given day, you think about 50,000 thoughts. Now that's a mind for you, isn't it? 50,000 thoughts. So a couple of things about our minds as we go forward. All minds are conditioned. You know, most of you know I used to teach sociology, so a lot of this comes from, but really I started to feel like sociology is a way of teaching ego development. All minds are conditioned. That's why I'm looking forward to getting my puppy, because you really learn about your own conditioning through training your puppy. What do? You give praise, you say, this is what I want you to do, then you praise or withdraw. Some people call that punishment, to get the behavior that you want. Our parents, friends, whatever, engage in that process for us. We are conditioned through life events and some genetics. I need to put y'all down again so I can say this. We are socialized or trained by our parents, teachers, priests, preachers, television, and friends. So be careful about your friends. Every day, new images and events influence who we are. These events may greatly influence our outlook on life and our level of resilience and adaptability. We want to take a look at this a little bit. So, here are some things to consider when you're thinking about your own mind, when you are under stress or needing to manage a lot. Racial unrest, physical illness, and loss. Worry, do you lean? So the things that have happened to you in your life really have a lot to do with how you lean under stress. Worry or acceptance, relaxation or anxiety, gossip or saying counsel, right? Either one of these is just what mind does. But what we're trying to do, and that's what that exercise was about, is you kind of going, okay, I have this mind. How can the mind serve me? Same thing with the body. What do I do so that my body and my mind serves me during hard times, not running so on automatic that I can't have no peace in the time of storms? But before we can get to that place about the mind, we have to understand that you are not your mind. And that is, I know it's a hard thing to get, but the more you sit and observe the mind, the more you get a sense that I am not the mind. I am the person that has a mind. I'm not my body. I am responsible for my body. So when you worry, you can begin to do some other things. So these events in our lives, our stories, do influence us, but they do not determine us. So let's kind of take, here we are, we've already meditated. I want you to kind of get into that posture again. We're not going to do the whole relaxation, but I want you to relax so you can see what comes up for you as we go through this, right? So this is just you kind of doing a autobiographical journey right here with me. So think about your childhood. Just think about it. Were you adored? Did you have fun? Do you remember your parents go, oh my goodness, you're so beautiful, you're so wonderful, I'm so glad you're my baby? Were there any traumas? You know, those of us who have high ACE scores, they don't just go away because we get old. It could have happened to you when you were young, but we're still walking around with it. But the more you are aware of what shapes you, the more you can address it. So just for a minute, this is one of these exercises that you can take to the woods too. How does the way I respond to life, how has it been influenced by my early childhood? What about as a teenager or a young adult? What are some of the things that happened to you, you know, especially popularity? Some of us are still holding on to, they didn't like me. They picked on me when I had on certain clothes. I didn't have friends. Or something legitimately could have happened that you haven't processed, like a rape or being beaten up or an accident. How are these things influencing the way that I interact with the world when I get stressed out? The more you know, the better able you are to navigate that. And now don't be ashamed if you have a happy childhood and a happy young adult. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong. Then the other thing that you can have is some type of empathy, because everybody doesn't have it easy like that. And you're the main person to be a support person for people who really are already set up to be in, a lot of pain and have a lot of stress. And then, of course, we all get older. Things can happen. I just had a birthday. A lot of you know that. And I'm like, girl, are you really like totally in your 50s? You are not a spring chicken. There is no pretending. So even the idea of aging can be a point of stress, or it can be a place of, well, I made it. But I think the point here is to really begin to look at our lives and what has influenced the way we deal or not deal with stress. And I want to share something with you that happened to me. It's a little bit personal, but I want to share it with you. About, 12 years ago, I went on a 7-day meditation retreat. And I ain't gonna tell no tale. I really went thinking like, I can do this. I'll show everybody I can do it. And so the way the thing was set up was the first 3 days, we could speak minimally, right? Which meant that if it wasn't important, you couldn't just sit around. You know how we like to get together and just chat? You can't just chat for nothing. If you needed something, you could say, pass me the. But you're supposed to be meditating all day, all night. We basically did sitting meditation for 20 minutes, walk for 10, sit for 2. We did that. Then we had a silent lunch. Those were the first 3 days. The last 4 days, we couldn't say a word. We could use sticky notes. And then if you start trying to have a conversation with sticky notes, people would be like, no, you're going too far. You need to be quiet. So I was like, yes, I'm in there. Well, that night of that first day, I love this idea of how stillness brings stuff. That's another reason why people are hesitant about meditation, because stuff will come up. And so that night of that first day of absolute silence, I was sitting and I just started getting this rumbling inside of me, right? And it was something that I didn't think that really, this is a strange thing to be saying, but it came up to me about me being a young woman and having like multiple partners. I was really a teenager that I didn't really know, just this feeling of not being valued. And I had already thought that I dealt with that stuff intellectually. Like, girl, I just like to have fun. But in that silence, it wasn't like people were preaching against promiscuity, right? It came from me. That I would have preferred to be loved and cared for. It came up for me. And when they talk about no more weeping and a wailing, first you got to weep and wail. Huh? Oh, how I wept for myself. And it was a point of extraordinary healing for me. And so when people say, be still and know, what you're really knowing is your mind, your own existence. Steal away. Why? Because still waters run deep. Do not be afraid for your hurt to come up. It is in the coming up that it is resolved. The resolution of pain leaves room for joy. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I'm starting to feel a little bit happy because that allowed me, that weeping and wailing allowed me to transcend that pain. I had been stuck in it. But then I was able to go, yes, that hurt me. I wanted to be loved and cared for. And it made room for me to decide how I want my relationships. I am not telling y'all that all my relationships have been great after that. But I tell you what, you're going to love me to know me. Anybody want to say something? I'm just talking and talking. Anybody want to say something? And so the mind, like the body, gift. It is our gift. We can't let it run on automatic. We've got to be responsible for our mind. And one of the best ways to take responsibility for the mind is to be mindful of it, right? And I really, really, really encourage you to try that. Try like setting a timer. I mean, you can download 15 billion different timers. I just have one on my phone. And I'll set the timer for me, I've been meditating for a couple of decades. But for you, just set the timer for 5 minutes and start looking at daily what is going on for you. And after a while, you won't even need to sit in meditation. You can just start seeing your thoughts and you can just go, girl, we're not doing that. I see you, I hear you, but we're not doing that. That's cray cray. So be mindful of your mind, all right? Be aware of the thoughts that you are thinking. And so spirituality is a hard one. I'm like, oh my goodness. Basically, I just kind of want to give you this really interesting definition that I found. I'm like, what do you say about spirituality? So I'm just going to say a couple of things, and then I want to try to, wrap it up with, I know you're like, oh, I'm so tired of relaxing. Be mindful of a mind that tells you it's tired of relaxing. But I'm going to try to do this one so that this last like guided relaxation, I'm going to try to bring body, mind, and spirit together. But let's look at this definition right quick. If I can see. Spirituality. This is Webster, which I looked at a lot of definitions, so I'll have to admit that I picked the one that I like the most. The recognition of a sense, feeling, or belief that there is something greater than the self. I love that part so much because it really ties so well into, if you center the body and you focus on the breath, which is not your creation, it's a gift too. And then those thoughts go by, eventually you can begin to ask, if I'm not my thought, who is watching the thoughts? What is this sense or belief that there's something greater than the personality? Something more to being human than sensory experiences. That's another thing that will be really powerful to do. As you sit in meditation, you can begin to see this extraordinary gift, which is your life. You're seeing. You couldn't come up with seeing if your life depended on it. You hear. Again, right? You feel, the whole body feels. And you have a sense of where the body is, right? What does that do? You smell. There's so much that's going on in smelling, you would have to take a class for 6 months just to be able to explain it to us, right? But then there is something more to being human than the senses, and the senses in themselves are extraordinary. And that greater whole of which we are a part is cosmic or divine in nature. That's a definition for you, ain't it? Something big. And your personality is that, but you are not separate from it. Sometimes I watch these little documentaries and they'll just take one part of the human system, like, I don't know, the heart. And I'm like, oh my Lord, I can't understand. No, I was watching the Cosmos the other day, and they were talking about DNA. And I'm like, oh, I will never be able to understand DNA. And yet, here I am, the benefactor. So before we do this last meditation, I want to talk about the idea of a spiritual practice. And sometimes if you're a religious person, it's easier for you because you know what to do. You go to church, you pray, right? The reason why we call yoga, which I should have mentioned because I do have a yoga practice, I love yoga. The reason why we call them a yoga practice is because it's like when playing the piano or guitar, you have to build up strength in it, right? So you do not have a yoga practice if you go to yoga once every other month. I don't know what that is. You gotta do it regularly. So these benefits from these practices, so that you are in optimal condition, have everything to do with your commitment to them. It's almost like, when we start talking about committing to ourselves, would you spend, if you had a new lover, would you spend once a week with that person? If you could, you would interact daily. So even if you are religious, you can begin to ask yourself, do I have a practice? Do I read the scripture or, whatever the text is on a regular basis? Do I meditate? Do I, but I'm not, I think those people who know me know, I consider myself a spiritual agnostic. And the reason why I say spiritual is because I believe in things, but I also practice. I meditate daily unless something comes up. But it's like brushing my teeth or taking a bath. It is a part of my life. I go to yoga or do my own practice weekly. They're regular things. And so, but I want to say something to people who are not religious. You're like, well, how do I get a practice? So I feel like my walking in the woods is a practice. And this is how my walk in the woods becomes spiritual. It's like I walk in the woods and I just say to life, this is a lot. Help me. Help me. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Help me. And I know it's crazy, but sometimes I'll be out there. That's why I really love forest meadows. I don't know if y'all have ever been there, because you can really feel like you're in the woods. But people are out there, so it feels kind of safe at the same time, but you don't really see them. And sometimes I just start singing, I need the hope. I just start singing, just asking for help. And it's funny. It's so funny that even though I'm not religious, something shifts in these practices, because I am intricately interconnected to life. I'm not separate from life. Life responds to me. All that is happening in my body right now is life's way of saying, I got you. Period. As the young people say, period. So let's just do this one last thing. So we're going to do a relaxation, but in it, we're just going to give thanks. This is not religious. This is just, if you believe that the highest power in the world is your mind, then give thanks to that. So I want you to get back in the posture. Get back. Right now, you should have some sense of the regality of your existence, the hugeness of who you are. And so let's start at the top. I just want you to imagine that your every hair follicle is relaxing. And I just want you to give thanks. Just thank life for your hair. And if you can imagine every neuron in your brain relaxing, I just want you to give thanks for your brain. Relax your forehead, your eyebrows, your eye sockets, your eyelashes. Just give thanks. Because we know we cannot make seeing. We are gifted with seeing. Give thanks for that. Relax your nose. Give thanks for smelling. Even if you don't like the smell, what a gift to smell. Relax your lips, your tongue, your gums. Give thanks for talking, tasting. Just relax your whole face. Relax your ears. Give thanks for hearing. Relax your neck, your shoulders, your arms. Relax every single one of your fingers and give thanks. Relax your back, upper back, middle back, lower back, and your spine. Give thanks for your back. Relax your chest, your stomach, all the internal organs around your belly. Give thanks. We don't understand how all that works, but we know it's working, and we just want to give thanks for that. Relax your groin, your bottom, your thighs, and give thanks. A mind of gratitude is a healthy mind. Relax your knees, your legs, your feet. Relax every single one of your toes and give thanks. And as you inhale and exhale your breath, which has been going on and on and on since you have been here, like the waves of the ocean, give thanks. Thank you.
Wow, that was powerful.
Thank y'all so much for being here. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook. Don't forget Deeper Dive. You can call me between 9 and 5. All right.
We appreciate everybody joining us, and you have Yolanda's contact information. It was on the screen, but if you need it, please let us know. When we're all together again, we will definitely be doing something for our members where we're all together and have Yolanda present. So we hope you all stay dry today, and if we don't see you tomorrow, have a great weekend.
Thank y'all so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.